So the reading this morning is from Numbers 13, verses 1 to 3, and then we skip to verses 25 and into Numbers 14 down to verse 9. So, the Lord said to Moses, "Send some men to explore the land of Canaan, which I am giving to the Israelites. From each ancestral tribe, send one of its leaders." So at the Lord's command, Moses sent them out to the desert of Paran. All of them were leaders of the Israelites. At the end of 40 days, they returned from exploring the land. They came back to Moses and Aaron and the whole Israelite community at Kadesh in the desert of Paran. There they reported to them and to the whole assembly and showed them the fruit of the land. They gave Moses this account: "We went into the land to which you sent us. It does flow with milk and honey. Here is its fruit. But the people who live there are powerful, and the cities are fortified and very large. We even saw the descendants of Anak there. The Amalekites live in the Negev. The Hittites, the Jebusites, Amorites live in the hill country, and the Canaanites live near the sea and along the Jordan." Then Caleb silenced the people before Moses and said, "We should go up and take possession of the land, for we certainly can do it." But the men who had gone before him said, "We cannot attack those people. They are stronger than we are." And they spread among the Israelites a bad report about the land they had explored. They said, "The land we explored devours those living in it. All the people we saw were of great size. We saw the Nephilim there. The descendants of Anak came from the Nephilim. We seemed like grasshoppers in our own eyes, and we looked the same to them." That night, all the people of the community raised their voices and wept aloud. All the Israelites grumbled against Moses and Aaron, and the whole assembly said to them, "If only we had died in Egypt or in this desert. Why is the Lord bringing us to this land only to let us fall by the sword? Our wives and children will be taken as plunder. Wouldn't it be better for us to go back to Egypt?" And they said to each other, "We should choose a leader and go back to Egypt." Then Moses and Aaron fell face down in front of the whole Israelite assembly gathered there. Oh dear. Joshua, son of Nun, and Caleb, son of Jephunneh, were among those who had explored the land. They tore their clothes and they said to the entire Israelite assembly, "The land we passed through and explored is exceedingly good. If the Lord is pleased with us, he will lead us into that land, a land flowing with milk and honey, and will give it to us. Only do not rebel against the Lord, and do not be afraid of the people of the land, because we will swallow them up. Their protection is gone, but the Lord is with us. Do not be afraid of them."
So I've entitled this talk, "So You Want to Fly?" I could have entitled it, "What's Your Passion?" Next picture, please. So I've got a series of pictures and a couple of videos for you today. So if you've never been to our house, you're very welcome to come. Not all at once, could be a bit overwhelming, but let us know and we'll get the kettle on. But when you step through our front door, this is what you see. Fabulous, isn't it? Fabulous, isn't it? Good. Okay, so, yeah, I could have called it "What's Your Passion?" So, next picture, please. I like a good hat. Don't you like a good hat? Good. This is my hat. I just thought I'd enlarge it for you so you get the experience of this hat. Unfortunately, it doesn't say Rolls-Royce aero engines, which would have been my preference, but this was free, so it'll do. Pratt & Whitney, dependable engines. You've been on holiday? Not every airline has Rolls-Royce engines on them. So when I go on holiday, one of the things I like to read on the airplane, if I'm going on an airplane, is a Fly Past magazine. It's brilliant. A few more bits. Oh no, that's in case it rains on the way home. I think if you're going to an air show, you need to look the part. You like that? Some people do. So last year, I'm at Cosford Air Show. I like a good air show. And Cosford is quite near. And I'm walking through the static display. That means airplanes that don't fly, by the way, in a hangar. And there's lots of people at this air show, as you can imagine. And there's this guy, and he starts following me. And I think, he's following me. And he's got a camera, a big camera. And I said, can I help you? He said, yeah. He said, are they original? I said, yes. Because his passion is patches. Not nicotine patches, airplane patches. And he said, can I take a photo? So I'm quite chuffed. I've got something that's unique that was handed down to me. I was very blessed. So perhaps you don't like flying but want the experience of flying. Next picture, please. Get yourself a remote control model. Look at the size of that. And once they're off the ground, you lose that perspective of size. Looks like the real thing. There's even bigger ones than that. But you need a bit of Redis to have those. A lot of money. They're about 9 to 10 grand. So you need a big workshop as well. So, you know, that's more than a hobby, isn't it? That's a passion. I've got a box. There's some stuff in this box. I'll show you in a minute. Next picture, please. So perhaps you're more into World War II aircraft, which I must admit is really where I'm at. And this is, of course, the iconic Spitfire. Next picture, please. Or you might like a Lancaster. Do you know how many flying Lancasters there are left in the world? Two. This is not it. This is just Jane. So the aircraft that the Battle of Britain Memorial flight is at Coningsby, where you obviously know there's a Lancaster there, Spitfire, Hurricane, and a few more. But this is just up the road at East Kirkby. This aircraft is called Just Jane, and they are going to put it back into the sky. And to help fund that, you can have a taxi ride in that. I don't mean to Manchester Airport, like from here to, but along, we've got a big grass strip, and there's a museum there. So you can pay and have a taxi ride in that. Okay, video, please. So maybe you're into fast jets. This is Coningsby. 2 weeks ago, if I move from here, I'm moving back to Lincolnshire where there's a live airbase. I haven't told Jan that, but, you know. Did you go to sleep yesterday? You did. Next picture, please. So here we are at sleep. What? Do you not know where sleep is? We couldn't go yesterday, we're too busy. But Sleep is a little airfield just the other side of Wem. It was built for World War II, and it's where they trained pilots for bomber aircraft. But sleep did suffer its tragedies as well when one aircraft on landing lost control, hit the tower and killed a lot of people, and there's a memorial there to those people. And there's also a little museum there. Do you know how old you have to be before you can have flying lessons in one of these? Sorry? 14. 14. Can't get your pilot's license till you're 17, but you can get some practice in ready for the big day. Next one. Okay, this is also at Sleep. This is a North American T-28B, but I know you already knew that. But if you want one, I know where there's one for sale. See me afterwards and I'll give you the address. They're all a couple of million. Or, of course, if you want to have a warbird, you can have a part sharing one. So this has probably got a couple of owners. If you want a Spitfire, you can have a flight in a Spitfire. There's plenty of those around as well. Okay, next, please, video. You'll see that at Sleep as well. Okay, I've got a video for you now.
Hi, Mom. I'm on top of the world.
So, didn't know you wanted to watch it again. So that's the iconic A380. And I want to show you some of the things that are in my box. So I have a very crude model of a Lancaster. Reputedly, this was made from the aluminium that was salvaged from the wreckage. I have no provenance to back that up, but it's quite likely looking at it. I have a piece of a Spitfire. I went to Malvern for a book launch. Get me limited edition book and some signatures. Took it to Duxford Air Show. Get some more signatures. Battle of Britain pilots who are no longer with us. So that's quite valuable in itself. Another book launch. Got to be there. Limited edition. And then I like reading autobiographies, because I think you get a sense of what things were like. Then I've got some pictures from RIAT. You all know what that is. Royal International Air Show. Where did we go for that? Forgot. Getting old. At Lincolnshire somewhere. So that was great. But looking at that A380, I love flying on that, by the way. It's usually long haul if you're going on one of those. Beautiful aircraft. Did you know the wings flex 13 feet, almost 4 meters? They do that. It flies. When it lands, its wings flex 13 feet. Next picture, please. Gulliver. He'll never fly in that condition, will he? So if you look at Gulliver, there are some things here that we can sort of have a good look at. So he's a big guy. Even in real life, he's a big guy, alone when he's tied down. But he's tied down by all these little things. I don't think I can fly. I don't think I'll ever fly. I'm sure I'll be too nervous if I fly. I'll get to the airport and turn around and run away. And there are some things that prevent you from doing what you want to do. So I'm going to have a look now and try and draw some parallels for us with the children of Israel. And what I want to do is, I want you to know that you are fundamental to the vision that God has given for this place. Whether you've moved from another country to be here, whether you've lived all your life here, whether you're still at school here, whether you're retired. Hang on a minute. No such thing as retirement. You're always doing something, believe me. So here we have the children of Israel. They've been brought out of Egypt, slavery. They've seen all the great things that God's done for them. And then in chapter 13, we see here that the waiting is about to come to an end. He's going to give them the land that he's promised to them. And you know when you go to buy a gift from somebody, oh, my watch has stopped. Never mind. Oh, and that clock stopped. We might run over. So, you know when you go to buy a gift for somebody, you put a lot of thought into it, don't you? Even if it's for a child, you put a lot of thought into it. And you get a little bit excited about how they will receive it. And I think here, God was excited. I'm going to give you this gift. It's for you. It's coming. You've been waiting a while, but it's coming. But what I want you to do is send out some guys to go and have a look and get excited. So they did. And it was all going so well. They came back to Moses and Aaron and the whole Israelite community at Kadesh in the desert of Paran. There they reported to them and to the whole assembly and showed them the fruit of the land. And if you remember, they bought some grapes, were so big that it took 2 people to carry them on a pole. So you've got a visual thing in front of you, whacking great clump of grapes. I was going to say bottle of wine, but it hadn't been pressed at that point. And they gave this account. We went into land which you sent us to, and it does flow with milk and honey. And here is its fruit. So they're excited. It is what you said it would be like. But. Notice that's the first word in verse 28. But the people who live there are powerful, and the cities were fortified and very large. And he goes on to say about the people who live there. And at verse 30 comes a positive. Caleb silenced the people before Moses and said, "We should go up and take possession of the land, for we can certainly do it." So you've got the buts and the cans. We can do it. And remember, God has given this vision. But the men who had gone up with him said, and these are the same people, same experience, same spying out the land, but the men who had gone up with him said, "Nah, we can't attack those people." And then it goes on in that vein. All the people we saw, they're huge. The problems are great. They're massive. We'll never do it. We'll never get this place finished. It's huge. And that night, all the people of the community raised their voices. So they've gone out and they've undermined everybody. Their confidence is gone. Their confidence is gone. And then we get one last encouragement. And it's quite a desperate one. Then Moses and Aaron fell face down in front of the whole assembly of the Israelites gathered there. Joshua, son of Nun, and Caleb, son of, I can't pronounce that word, Jephunneh, who were among those who had explored the land, they tore their clothes. They were in that much anguish. They tore their clothes, and they said to the Israelite assembly, "The land we passed through and explored is exceedingly good. If the Lord is pleased with us, he will lead us into that land, a land flowing with milk and honey, and he will give it to us. Only do not rebel against the Lord, and do not be afraid of the people of the land, because we will swallow them up. Their protection is gone, but the Lord is with us. Do not be afraid." Do not be afraid. So what about us? How does that fit with us? You know that God has given a vision for this place to a small number of people originally, and this is part of the outworking of that vision. How confident are we that God will fulfill that vision through us? Whether you're still at school, and I mean that seriously, because you can reach people that I can't reach. You can reach your friends that I don't know. How confident are we that God will do this, fulfill this vision with us and our role in that vision? There is a role for each of us to play in the fulfilling of the vision that God has given for this place and for We Church. And I wanted to show you how that works out through, if you like, that A380 aircraft, that passenger aircraft. I want to tell you about a few of the people you won't see who get that aircraft into the sky. You won't see the air traffic controller. You may see the baggage handler who puts your kit on the aircraft. You won't see the maintenance guys unless there's a problem on the pad and they'll fix it. You won't see the caterers who did all the prep and got it loaded onto the aircraft. You won't see the cleaners. You may see the pilot and the crew. You'll see the cabin crew. And then you'll see your fellow passengers. But this ride isn't free. It isn't a free ride. You have to pay. You contribute to that aircraft. As a passenger on that aircraft, you are integral to getting it into the sky and to its destination. You pay air traffic control. You pay the baggage handlers. You pay the cleaners. You pay the people who make the food. You pay the cabin crew. You pay the pilots. You pay the maintenance team. Without you, if you feel you're insignificant, you're not. You're key to getting that aircraft to its destination. You are key to fulfilling the vision that God has given for this place. Hopefully later in the year we'll be having a refresher, because there's quite a lot of you here that don't know the full vision that's been given. We'll have a day when we look at that. I've just put his arm up his back. So, let's get this. Poor old Gulliver. Nah, I'm insignificant. One little rope. God will never use me. Another little rope. I can't do it. I've never done that sort of thing before. With God, all things are possible. We say it, but is it just a glib saying in our lives? Don't let it be a glib saying. You are extremely important. We need to get our thought life under control, because that's where the enemy seeks to bring these things in. Look at what happened with the children of Israel out in the wilderness. But 3 letters, massive implications, went and undermined the whole assembly of the Israelite people. You are a fundamental part of fulfilling God's vision for this place. Like I said, if you've come from abroad, or if you moved from as far as Nottingham like we did 3 years ago, or whether you've lived here all your life, you are precious in God's sight. You are amazing. And I just want to cut these cords for you. So I'm just going to pray for you now. Father God, we pray that you would just show us in our individual lives where we're tied back down by doubts and buts and the things that people say to us that make us feel low and lack of self-worth. Father, I just cut these people off from that. I cut those cords and declare that we are yours, that we are on this ride together to the destination that you have given to fulfill the vision that you have given for this place. Blessed be your name, Lord. Amen.